All right, we have some breaking news right now. The suspect charged in the hit and run, there you are. You're looking at her live in court right now, appearing in court, and that is Hinds. She is making an appearance. She is the suspect charged in the hit and run of the Chattanooga police officer Gallinger. That happened over the weekend. Again, she turned herself in to Chattanooga Police Department this morning. Court documents are revealing new details, and investigators looked at body camera video. They showed her traveling at a high rate of speed, and the video also shows that she hit a public works sign that was in the middle of the road before striking the officer. Now, to locate the vehicle, officers checked out every CRV that was registered in Hamilton County. That led them to her home in Port Drive, where they located the vehicle yesterday. Now, Hinds' attorney says, okay, she didn't mean to do that. Let's listen in.
Statutory factors. She is a lifelong resident of this community. She was born in Hickson. Her family lives in Hickson. Unfortunately, given the time constraints of this hearing, we haven't been able to get everyone here. But she has lived there her entire life, with some time away in college. But other than that, she's been here. She raised 2 sons on her own in Hickson. She is the postmaster of Saudi Daisy, and she's been employed by the Postal Department for 33 years. Right now, Judge, she has no criminal record other than, to my knowledge, the speeding offense that dates back, I think, as Mr. Williams will candidly disclose to you, from 1997, Judge. There is nothing else on her record at all. She has at this point, she owns a house in Hickson. She has retained counsel. As to Mr. Williams' representation that she presents a flight risk based on the delay of turning herself in, it's my understanding that it is impossible to turn oneself in before there is an arrest warrant issued. She met with our office yesterday, and no sooner had that happened than we did contact Mr. Pinkston. Actually, we contacted the Chattanooga police, and now I was then in contact with Mr. Williams and Mr. Pinkston throughout the afternoon yesterday. And I had let Mr. Pinkston know to please notify me, get whatever warrants you need, and notify me. She's ready to turn herself in, Judge. She did turn herself in this morning at Amnicola without any issues. And Judge, she is before the court asking that a reasonable bond be set, notwithstanding the extremely tragic circumstances of this situation. It appears to be an accident. I think that the evidence will subsequently show that weather was a major factor, as the court can recall. We've had torrential downpours and fog and other situations. I understand the officer was checking a manhole cover on Hamel Road when this occurred. Judge, obviously those facts are going to be delved into in much greater depth later on, but from what I've seen at this point, we're dealing with a tragic accident with the loss of a life that is a great loss to this community, Judge. But we're asking that a bond be set that is based purely on the statutory factors that are before the court, and we'd ask, we would submit that even were this charged as a vehicular homicide proximate to intoxication, a very standard bond in those type of cases is $50,000, Judge. I understand that that is certainly not charged in that fashion. It is the allegations that involve recklessness. So, Judge, we would just ask that the court set a fair bond with that in mind, understanding that the law requires that the bond be set no higher than is necessary to ensure Ms. Hinds' appearance.
She's charged with leaving the scene of an accident that involves death. I think it's going to be pretty clear from the proof that she in all likelihood knew that she had struck an individual there on Hamel Road at 11 p.m. on Friday night, and she left the scene. I think that's an indication of flight, and I think the bond should be set significantly.
And is this officer that was there at the scene?
I don't believe he was there at the scene, no. He is the lead detective on the officer.
Does there need to be any proof?
I don't intend to put on any proof today, no.
Okay. All right, obviously this is a tragedy, a loss of life, and of course somebody that I guess has not been before any sort of court other than a speeding traffic ticket. But in this instance, the court would find, based on a significance of the hitting of a person, how that could not have been known, and to leave the scene of an accident, whether it was hitting an unknown, whether it was hitting a person or something on the street, to not stop and to leave and then to wait. until after. The reason that there was not something to turn herself in on is because the warrants would have been issued had she been there on the scene when that accident occurred, and she had stuck back to see what in fact that she had hit. Because we do now have pretrial services, which we have not had in the past, the court is going to count that as insignificant for purposes of setting the bond. The bond will be $300,000 plus house arrest and no driving.
We're still live. That again was the
Thank you,
bond
Rob.
hearing
I
right there
understand
for
the
Janet
previous,
Hinds. And what we just heard the judge say right there was bond is set at $300,000, no driving and house arrest. And of course, her attorney was making the argument for reasonable bond, saying that of course she did not have any prior criminal record. But again, you heard there talking about leaving the scene of the accident and then turning herself in yesterday. So right now they are leaving the courtroom, and again, Janet Hinds' bond has been set at $300,000 there, house arrest and no driving. So Michelle Herron is live there in the courtroom. We are following this developing story, and we are going to continue to bring you updates on air and online. Stay with us. We're back after this.